What's going on, Diggler Dreamers? You got Mathras back for something a little different today. Very excited, actually. I've been waiting for this. It's the usage-based tier update for July 2020, which is the first time since the Isle of Armor update that the tiers are going to shift. So I'm very excited to see, obviously this is going to shake up the metagame. It already has shaken up the metagame so much, so I'm excited to see, what managed to find its place in OU, what maybe has dropped since then, what crazy Pokemon like maybe Luxray have dropped down. And they were introducing something a little different with this one, in that if something has they normally everything will drop slowly, it has to have below, I think it's 4% ish now, in order to drop. But they were implementing something different, since a bunch of Pokemon were introduced. Then they're not exactly new Pokemon, they're just new to the metagame. And I think they introduced something where if they're below 4%, they drop to UU. If they're below 2%, they drop to RU or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I saw something like that though. So let's take a look at the OU usage stats. So top use, Magnezone, of course. 40% usage for Magnezone. Not that crazy. Urshifu gets 25%. Does that include both of them, or is there two different ones? Okay, so the Rapid Strike one's down here at 9%. Is that coming up on the screen? Yeah, okay. Let's make sure things aren't getting cut off here. So the Fighting Dark type Urshifu is getting 25% usage. Mandibuzz is number 3 at 23. Cinderace is 22. Dragapult 22. Clefable fell all the way down to 6 with only 20% usage. 20% usage, that's still a lot of usage, but compared to what Clefable was doing before, it was I think it was even higher than Magirna's usage. Excadrill, Rillaboom, oh my god, Rillaboom, 19% usage. Rillaboom's OU now, for sure. Above Volcarona in usage at 18%, and Toxapex number 10. Wow. And Marowak too. Okay, so those are the first two, obviously, that have risen up. Well, I guess Magnezone and Urshifu are obviously, they're the new ones to the tier as well. But Rillaboom, I guess Marowak's new to the tier as well, but Rillaboom was not. It just got its ability, Grassy Surge, and that has catapulted it up into the top 10 of OU, which is pretty crazy. Let's see, Chansey, of course, is right here, number 14. Got a Zoomeril at 11. I almost skipped over that. Slowbro at 15. Magnezone number 16. I expected Magnezone to be higher. We got Hippo, Tangrowth at number 18. Alakazam number 19. 10% usage. Okay. Hawlucha. Corviknight's dropped significantly. Corviknight was always top 5, I want to say, and is now number 21 at only 10% usage. Kamoa, I feel has dropped to a little bit as well. Zeraora. I was actually looking at the June usage stats not that long ago. I think yesterday. I don't know why I said not that long ago. But Zeraora, I think, was number 2. It went, it was Clefable, Zeraora, Dragapult. Those are the top 3. And Zeraora fell down to 24 this time. Speaking of, where's Dragapult? Dragapult is number 5. Okay, so Dragapult's still pretty up there, but a little bit down from where it was. Okay, and then there's Rotom, Hydreigon, Pelipper, Togekiss, Mew, Kingdra, actually. Well, Kingdra actually managed to fit into OU. That's interesting. Bisharp, Moongus is up there. Scissor, ooh, what's the cutoff, actually? Did Scissor actually make it to OU? Skarmory is up there. Quagsire. These are going to be close, I think. 4.3. I don't know exactly what the thing is for the drop-off. Ooh, Barraskewda is up here. Ooh, Aegislash number 40. 3.7. I think Aegislash dropped, because I'm pretty sure it's 4 point something. Oh my god. Hold up. Aegislash, Terrakion, Conkeldurr, Gengar, Kyurem have all dropped. Is that accurate? Slowbro, Galar, 2%, 2.9%. Jirachi and Grimmsnarl. Alright, I gotta scour this for other OU Pokemon that might have dropped. Venusaur, Ninetales. Indeed, he actually had pretty good usage compared to probably what he used to be. Oh my god, Tyranitar. Tyranitar looks like it dropped finally. Oh my gosh. Ditto, Starmie, Mantine, Weavile. Weavile's down. Cloyster is definitely down. Keldeo, Mimikyu is down. Druddigon's actually up here with these guys. Interesting. Raichu. Okay, Raichu with the rising voltage getting some good usage. Tentacruel, Klefki, Haxorus, Blissey. Okay, nothing too crazy anymore that I'm seeing. Okay, so let's, I think they have the graphic, so I'm just gonna quickly scroll by all this stuff. I want to see the graphic. Here we go. Okay, weird. I'm gonna zoom in. So rises. Okay. So things that moved up. Chansey obviously is an OU. Pelipper moved up to OU, and Rillaboom moved up to OU. Okay, from RU to OU, obviously. Okay, that makes sense. Rillaboom certainly very good. Indeedee and Barraskewda moved from RU to UU, so it looks like Barraskewda didn't quite have enough to make it to OU. That's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense though. Getting flip turn with this thing, and then this thing getting expanding force, it makes total sense. Okay, so other things that moved to RU, moved up to UU. Copperajah, Snorlax, Steelix moved from RU to UU. Interesting. Copperajah, I always felt like it feels like a Pokemon that's kind of good wherever it is. And yeah, I guess it just got enough usage. Did it get anything in particular? I don't think it got any like new moves really that made it good. Maybe it's just the meta itself. And Scyther did move from NUBL to UU. Okay, and we got female Indeedee moving from NUBL to RU, along with Porygon 2, as well as Magneton moving from PUBL to RU. Pincurchin moving up to RU as well. Ooh, and we got Basculin. Does Basculin get flip turn? Golurk, Gourgeist, and Hitmontop moving from PUBL to NU. So these three obviously getting getting particularly strong new moves, like Poltergeist for these two, and Hitmontop getting triple Axle. And I guess Basculin must have gotten flip turn. That probably makes this thing pretty good, or at least a little better. Ooh, and Thwackey moving up from NFE to NU. Very cool, skipping right over PU with that Grassy Surge. I think Thwackey might actually be a sleeper threat because having Grassy Surge, and I remember it actually has somewhat decent stats. Like, it's not that much slower than Rillaboom, and it actually has solid bulk, especially with an Eviolite, and not too bad attack, so I feel like it could be a really solid thing. ZU to PU, Seaking and Silvally Rock. Silvally Rock, interesting. And NFE to PU, obviously, okay. What's this thing? Well, no, I want to say Rillaboom for some reason. Raboot. It's because they have the Boo, the BOO. So Kadabra, Raboot, and Togetic moving up from NFE to PU. Makes sense with the Libero making this thing pretty solid. LC Uber to PU. Tangela moves up. Okay, cool. Shout out to Ray.mp4 YouTube channel he's been using Raboot in the PU tier in his Road to Glory series a lot, and has been showing its strength. Very cool. Okay, not as many crazy rises as I expected. I mean, Scyther definitely jumped up a lot, which is I almost half expected it to maybe pop up in OU. I kind of expected maybe something using Poltergeist to jump up. But anyway, let's look at the drops, because there seems to be a lot more drops than I expected. Okay, so Gengar dropping. So Gengar, Ninetales, and Primarina have all been banned from UU, so they're just dropping from OU to UUBL. So that makes sense. But look at this. Okay, so things that are dropping from OU to UU. Aegislash. Okay, that I was not expecting. That's pretty crazy. I don't think that... I mean, I don't expect Aegislash to stay in this tier. That sounds kind of crazy to me. But maybe the nerfs were enough. I don't know. Blissey drops. That kind of makes sense. Clawitzer, of course. This thing definitely got good with Terrain Pulse and Flip Turn, but I don't think it got OU good. Cloyster dropped. Interesting. Comfey is here. Conkeldurr dropped, which is super interesting because I feel like this has been one of this metagame has been one of the best for Conkeldurr, it seems to me. Druddigon dropped, that makes sense. Dragalge, Exploud, Grimmsnarl, and Hatterene both dropped, which is very interesting. People have been speculating that these two will drop for a little while, but it's weird to actually see it happen, and I'm curious to see what they will do in the UU tier. I assume Grimmsnarl will probably do the same thing, but it might have a little more freedom to run actual bulky sets. I mean bulky sets, more offensive sets. Maybe, just maybe. We'll see. Heracross is down here, nice. It's probably where it's lived most of its life. It may have been RUBL in Sun and Moon though, but I think it could be really good. It does get spikes now, which is pretty cool. Jirachi dropped is interesting. I think that thing has always been somewhat low in usage, so interesting to see that thing go finally. Klefki drops, makes kind of sense to me. Crocodile is back in its UU tier. I think it'll be pretty good here. Maybe I'll try Skill Shot again, but don't quote me on that. Kyurem drops, very interesting. We got Lycanroc Midday and Lycanroc Dusk dropped. I expect the Midday one to continue dropping, but I feel like Lycanroc Dusk could actually be pretty good here. I mean, it definitely was not bad in the OU tier, and maybe in the UU tier it'll actually be able to do something. Mienshau's down here. I'm very excited to actually use this thing. I was planning an OU team with it, but maybe I'll just do a UU team with it because I just love Mienshao. It's one of my favorites. Mimikyu has dropped, very interesting. Palossand is here with the Scorching Sands. Okay, Poliwrath actually managed to stay in UU. Very interesting. So I don't know exactly what the math is on what is supposed to drop to UU and then other things with lower percentages drop further. But I think that is the case because I'm seeing there's a bunch of things that I'm looking for that would, normally be here if they were doing it by regular standards, but isn't. Like Luxray comes to mind. Like if Luxray, if they were doing this the way they always would, then Luxray would be here. Unless it managed to stay OU, which I don't think it did because I didn't see it in the list. So Poliwrath actually had pretty good usage, apparently. As did Porygon Z. No, not good enough to stay OU, but good enough to stay UU, which is pretty cool. Porygon Z, Scolipede, okay. Scolipede with the speed boost could definitely be a big UU threat. And Seismitoad. Seismitoad has dropped. That makes sense, actually, because I don't remember seeing that many Seismitoads in the OU tier. I mean, obviously Dracovish leaving was kind of the main thing that spurned this, I'm sure, but just getting a bunch of new Pokemon into the metagame obviously changes things up a lot too. Sharpedo dropped. Skarmory actually did drop. Wow. Not expecting that. So Corviknight actually beats out Skarmory to stay OU. I mean, we'll see. Like, obviously, a lot of this is probably in flux because it's only been a month, and I'm sure a lot of things will change over the next month or two. So I'm curious to see if Skarmory will actually stay down here or not. Galarian Slowbro has dropped, as has Slowking. Very interesting. I'm very curious to see what Slowbro Galar can, what am I saying? Galarian Slowbro could do in the UU tier. Starmie has dropped, which is a little surprising. Not that surprising because it was UU before, but I thought it might do a little bit better in this more restricted metagame. Talonflame has dropped, okay. Tentacruel, Terrakion, and this one is interesting. Terrakion has been BL in the past, but to actually drop in this more restricted metagame is pretty crazy, I think. And Tyranitar finally drops from OU to UU. Very, very interesting. It's, a sad day because having been playing Pokemon for a long time, Tyranitar has always been one of those best Pokemon, like in the OU tier. It's always been such a staple, such a classic, and it is kind of a shame to see it finally fall from grace. What can you do? It's going to be very good in this tier, I'll tell you that, if it even stays in here for that long, but I'm sure it'll stay for a little while. I don't feel like it's going to be super justifiable to quick ban it or anything, so we'll see what happens. And was any of this getting cut off? Oh man, I feel like some of this got a little cut off while I was talking about it. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could move it. over. Okay, so you guys can't see the last Pokemon, the last 1 or 2 Pokemon on the right side. So you just missed Conkeldurr, Jirachi, and Klefki on the second row here. Conkeldurr's on the top row, and then Poliwrath was here next to Palisand. And you can kind of see Slowking, but next to Slowking is Starmie, so I apologize for that. And then the last one here is Zoroark, which is going to be in UU. This thing has been RUBL in the past, so I feel like it might be able to find a spot for itself here. We'll see. It does kind of, I mean, Illusion is cool, but it's not always the hardest to expect, especially when it goes for a move. You can kind of tell. Okay, so let's see. OU to RU. Okay, so Bouffalant, Exeggutor, Alola, Alolan Exeggutor, Lurantis, Luxray, Politoed, and Alolan Sandslash all dropped from OU to RU. Very, very cool. I mean, I think Luxray should be OU, but to see it in my personal favorite tier, RU, is very cool, and I'm very excited to use it there. Politoed with Drizzle, maybe? I forget if Drizzle is actually banned from RU, but that could be very interesting. Honestly, didn't really expect any of the other Pokemon that are here to actually be in RU. Like, is Bouffalant actually good? Exeggutor, Lurantis to get Grassy Lie. Maybe I run a Thwacky Lurantis team or something. Maybe a Sandslash. Is there any like Hail setters? I guess Abomasnow, right? Maybe Abomasnow Sandslash could be a good combo. Interesting. Not exactly what I was expecting, but interesting. And to NU, Miltank dropped to NU from OU. Alright, yeah, that makes sense. Miltank's pretty solid. It got Body Press now. But yeah, I mean, I think it's always been around the NU tier, so I feel like it could be, it's going to do its thing. And then we got OU to PU. Dedenne, Dunsparce. Okay, not a lot of surprising things here. Emolga, Exeggutor, Golduck, Kangaskhan. I feel like Kangaskhan could have made it to NU. Licky, Lilligant, Lopunny. I feel like Lilligant can make it up. I feel like Lilligant actually got banned from PU last gen. Lycanroc Midnight. Yeah, not much to say there. Marowak, Pinsir, regular Sandslash. I feel like regular Sandslash having spikes can be pretty cool. We'll see though. Shuckle. I mean, this thing just does what it does wherever it is, so might as well be PU. Stoutland, Tauros, and Wigglytuff. Is that getting cut off? No. Okay. So it's just the right side. Here, let me adjust this actually. Because I noticed there's a little stuff on the left side that doesn't need to fit in there. So there you go. So you get to see a little bit more on the right side with the left side being a little more cut off, but you're not missing anything on that side. So interesting. Tauros has, I guess, weaker attack, but really good speed at 110. I thought this thing would be a little bit better, but I mean, I did use it, on a team in my in a certain video series that I won't speak of, and it did basically nothing. So curious. I have to see what made Bouffalant, I guess, stronger Tauros, because I always compare these two because they're such similar Pokemon. They're both bulls. They're both normal types. But Bouffalant definitely has, I think it's only 55 speed, where compared to Tauros, which is 110. I don't know Bouffalant's attack stat off the top of my head, but I know Tauros only has 100, which isn't the best. So I don't know. Interesting. Wigglytuff dropped. That makes sense. Now I'm curious, what is this Barbaracle we got here? Okay. So so these are just the OU drops, and now we're looking at their other drops. So Barbaracle dropped from UU, but obviously it's been banned from RU, so it is RUBL. And from UU to RU, we got Ditto, Espeon, Heliolisk, Machamp, Ribombee, and Xatu. Very, very cool. I think the RU tier is going to be very cool. Finally getting Espeon back from last generation, and Heliolisk too, which is pretty cool. Heliolisk definitely going to compete with Luxray for electric type, unfortunately, but Machamp definitely a big, strong, like, wall breaker Pokemon to add. Good sticky web user for the RU tier with Ribombee as well. And Xatu was previously in the RU tier. I think it went up last month, and I guess it just come back down again. So very interesting. RU to NU is Cramorant, Decidueye, Dugtrio. Of course, this thing's just going to keep dropping. Gallade actually dropped. I feel like that thing actually had pretty solid usage in RU, but I don't think I've played any RU this month, so who knows. Vanillux and Weezing. Okay, Vanillux could be a good rain or hail setter with Sand Slash, which is pretty cool. Weezing drop, that kind of makes sense. And I can't believe Cramorant dropped. Cramorant, I feel like with the right Cramorant set is just too good. And a Decidueye drop. I was actually kind of cool. I thought it was cool that Decidueye was staying in RU for a few months, but you know, I guess it makes sense that it would eventually drop. Okay. NU to PU, Boltund, drop to PU. Dang, this thing, I feel like this thing has such a good speed tier. If it just had a better attack stat or something, I mean, if they just gave, you know, physical electric types a better move that they could abuse other than Wild Charge, like, please. Because this thing is like I feel like half the time it runs Thunderfang just because it might even be a little bit better than Wild Charge. It might not be quite as powerful with Strong Jaw, but it might. And then the other thing is it doesn't get recoil damage, which is huge. Butterfree dropped. I didn't even know this thing was NU. Dreadnought drop, okay. Driftblim, Hatrim, Hitmonchan, Klinklang, Ninjask, Orbeetle, Berserker, Rotom, Frost, and Unfezant. Okay, nothing too crazy in my mind here. I feel like Berserker was a pretty solid NU Pokemon, and the few times I used it. And Orbeetle is definitely, I feel like Orbeetle is another one of those Pokemon that's pretty good at what it does wherever it is. But I don't know, I feel like this is a pretty good Pokemon. Maybe PU. I'll do a PU team. Maybe it'll be kind of fun. Okay, PU to ZU. Corsola finally dropped. Dusclops. Okay, I feel like Dusclops isn't terrible. I mean, it's not great, but I mean, it's a very bulky Eviolite user. Farfetch'd drop. Okay, Gothitelle. Ludicolo dropped. Okay, I feel like Ludicolo is not. I don't know. I mean, Ludicolo is not great, but if you have Rain, I don't know. Ludicolo has always just done the same thing. I feel like it's powerful with like a Life Orb or in the rain. I don't know. Meltan, okay. Both of them Mr. Mimes dropped. Palpitoad dropped. Pyukumuku and Shiinotic. Okay. So if Pokemon reaches 4.52%, that's the thing. But I feel like there was something. Yeah, like there obviously was a rule. Like that's why things dropped to lower tiers than UU. So actually, you know, now that I'm looking at this, so Luxray may not have had enough to stay in OU or to just stay in UU, but it didn't drop to NU or PU, which is, I think it was PU, if not ZU, in previous generations. So, you know, it's sticking around a little bit. It's sticking around a little bit more than it has before. Where are the other? Okay, can I close this? No. Okay, I want to look at the OU usage stats. So let's see. I'm gonna zoom in. How's this looking on the recording? Okay, perfect. Well, not the best. A little bit cut off on the sides, but you get the idea. So Magearna obviously on a little bit under half of all teams. That makes sense. Urshifu on a quarter of all teams. Yeah. Mandiba's going very far up, which is very interesting. I mean, obviously, probably a pretty good check to things like Urshifu. Cinderace, definitely getting a boost in usage. Dragapult, I mean, the fact that it's number 5 and it's dropping is still pretty crazy. Clefable dropping, I think like it was definitely above 40% usage last month. So dropping about half its usage percent, which is, you know, it does make sense to an extent because everybody wants to use the cool new things. So it makes sense that Clefable would drop a little bit, but it definitely dropped a lot. Excadrill dropped, but still at number 7. Rillaboom coming all the way up to number 8, which is pretty crazy. Volcarona, I mean, I expected this thing to be higher, but number 9 does make sense. And Toxapex, I think actually, yeah, going up a little bit to number 10. Another good check to the Urshifus, I suppose. Maybe just the water one, though. Okay, so let's look at the lower ones. So we got Azumarill at number 11. Wow, I wasn't actually expecting this. I mean, I expected Azumarill to be, like, within the OU usage, but I didn't expect it to be number 11, because because, you know, Toxapex is right there at number 10. Marowak number 12, very interesting. Ferrothorn number 13, okay. Chansey number 14. And Slowbro making it all the way to 15, pretty cool. I mean, Teleport, Regenerator, definitely a good combo. Magnezone, I mean, that's the main reason why this happened right here. Magnezone number 16, pretty crazy. Hippodon at 17, Tangrowth at 18, so a lot. Okay, so what I'm noticing is, like, the top threats, we've got big offensive setup sweepers like Magearna. We've got Urshifu, big, strong wall breaker, along with Cinderace and, you know, Dragapult. But the other thing I'm noticing that there's a lot of strong offensive power in the tier, but of course there's the drawback to that is a lot of defensive Pokemon are moving up. Like Mandiba's moved up, Toxapex moved up, and look at all these. Like Marowak is definitely strong wall breaker, but mainly I think it was used a lot because of Volcarona and Magearna needing like strong checks, and it actually does check those Pokemon. Ferrothorn, Chansey, Slowbro, Hippo, Tangrowth, all within the top 20. Very, very bulky Pokemon. So yeah, a lot of bulk coming into the top of the OU tier, which is pretty interesting. Alakazam at 19, Hawlucha at 20, actually surpassing Corviknight at number 21. So talk about a fall from grace, Corviknight falling to 21. I mean, obviously Magnezone was going to affect this thing's usage, and it could have been even worse, honestly, but damn. This thing was definitely top 5. Like, since its inception, it's been like top 5. And even with Skarmory being introduced, it's still staying OU, but Magnezone definitely had a huge impact there. I mean, again, I think there is a factor of like everybody wants to use the new things. So maybe in the next month or two we'll see things change. Maybe Corviknight will come back up. Maybe something like Urshifu and Magearna will drop down, but I don't expect that. I think something like Azumarill, Marowak maybe drop down a little bit, but we'll see. And then Urshifu Rapid Strike, the water one, is number 22. I mean, still really strong. Definitely not as good as its dark type relative, but still pretty strong. Aqua Jet priority, and having the 3-hit move. Anyway, Komodo to 23. I think this thing was definitely top 20 before, so it definitely dropped a little bit. And speaking of drops, Zeraora, I already mentioned this, but Zeraora had a big drop. This thing was number 2 last month, and it's already dropped to 24. Pretty crazy. Rotom Heat at number 25, Hydreigon at 26. These aren't too crazy. I feel like Rotom Heat has definitely dropped a little bit. I feel like it was higher than 25 before. Pelipper made it back up to the OU tier after dropping last month. Togekiss is up here. Mew, Kingdra, which I really did not expect. I mean, like, Kingdra is definitely good in certain teams, but I mean, I guess maybe the Pelipper had an impact there. But Kingdra was like banned from NU last generation, so it's very interesting to see it come up this far. Did it get Flip Turn? I think maybe if it got Flip Turn, it did get Hurricane as well. I don't know. Maybe those were just enough to make it useful, but I wasn't expecting it. Bisharp at number 31 and Amoonguss at 32. Okay, interesting. So Amoonguss actually, I thought if it was used in OU, I thought it would be higher, but I mean, it's there. I guess people might want to pick Tangrowth as their grass type over it, but I feel like Amoonguss can be a pretty solid. I mean, it is one of the premier spore users, right, that I can think of. I mean, probably the best. I mean, there was Shiinotic, but why would you use that thing? Regenerator, obviously. Like, okay, let's look at the Slowbro number 15, Tangrowth number 18, and Amoonguss number 32. All the Regenerator Pokemon, and then of course Toxapex number 10. Oh my god, just imagine, like, the weird thing is, like, the 4 of those on a team wouldn't even be that bad, and they all have Regenerator. I mean, it'd be pretty stally, bulky team, but it could definitely work. And this one, interesting. Scissor actually remained just barely in the OU tier at number 33. I wasn't expecting this. I feel like Scissor didn't really have much going for it, and I feel like a lot of people were aware of that. It was UU last generation, and I think Toxapex probably is the biggest factor to that. And with it going up in usage already, I don't know how long is this thing gonna stay in this tier. I guess dual wing beat does, you know, change things to a little bit, but I feel like Scyther might honestly be even the better user of that move. I don't know, interesting stuff. We'll see if maybe this goes up or if he does like drop down to UU next month. We'll see. We'll see. So I want to see Tyranitar dropped. Where was it? Look at this long text. Oh yeah. Okay, so Scissor was the last thing. So Scissor did number 33, 4.7. So 4.5 was the thing. So Skarmory just barely at 4.4. Quagsire, Hatterene, Barraskewda, Crawdon, Seismitoad, Aegislash, Terrakion, all the things that just barely missed the cutoff. Huh. So Talonflame actually had more usage than Kyurem. Okay, very interesting. I want to see where the, like... Okay, yeah, maybe this is what it linked to. Yeah, okay. So the OU to UU obviously is the 4.5% cutoff. 4.52, I should say. Then the OU to RU is 1/15 of 4.52%. And then OU, so that's where like Luxray and Alolan Exeggutor and Bouffalon fell into. OU to NU, 1/30 of 4.52, and then 1/60 of 4.52 to PU, but they don't have ZU as an official tier yet, I don't think. So, okay. So let's just take a look. I want to find Luxray in the OU usage just before I wrap this up. So it's got to be fairly low, I'm guessing. It's Klefki, okay, Scyther, Mienshao, Canine, Lucario, Shellman. Okay, I just got to do the control fine. So Luxray has 0.22%. So that is pretty low, but that actually managed to make it stay in the RU tier as opposed to dropping to NU. And Bouffalon was part of that as well at 0.209, as was Sandslash. Was there anything else? Lurantis stayed in RU. What else? Is there anything else that dropped? Miltank was the one. Miltank was the only one that dropped from OU to NU. So at 0.146%. That's the drop off from OU to NU. Okay. Very interesting stuff. So this video definitely went on a little bit longer than I expected it to. But it's a very interesting topic. I'm very curious to see how, you know, things change, how, you know, the meta adapts with all these new moves, especially the lower tiers, which I haven't been playing as much recently. I just want to take a quick glance at the lower tiers actually while I'm here. So Incineroar was the top in UU, very interesting. Incineroar, Noivern, Sylveon, Rillaboom, of course. So Rillaboom was definitely top of whatever tier it was usable in. Cobalion, Keldeo, Rotom, Necrozma, Rhyperior, Roserade. Okay, interesting. So let's look at RU. Rillaboom, of course, number 1. Charizard, Vaporeon, Steelix, Salazzle, Vileplume, Snorlax, Indeedee, Scyther, okay, Raichu, Alola, okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, because the Pincurchin Raichu combo was, you know, available in the lower tiers. So I feel like that's definitely useful. And Raichu was already pretty good beforehand, so, you know, that makes sense. Colossal actually making it to number 11. Pretty cool. Okay. And maybe the NU. Scyther, of course, 41% usage. Sandaconda, Piloswine, Lantern. Okay, so nothing too crazy. Stunfisk Galar, huh? Yeah, okay. And PU. Dusknoir with the Poltergeist making it to the top of the tier. Very cool. Mawile, Manectric, Mr. Rhyme, Phalanx Thievul. With the Thievul, maybe with the Burning Jealousy, the new move. I don't know. I don't actually know how good this thing was in PU beforehand. Kadabra, okay. Crustle, Thwackey number 9, and Trevenant. Oh, Trevenant actually getting some usage somewhere. Interesting. And Pincurchin only at number 12 there, huh? Okay, so very cool. We'll end it there. definitely going to do some cool Showdown lives in the upcoming weeks as these new tiers begin to sell a little bit. If you have any particular things you want to see, any suggestions, anything maybe I missed, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Keep dreaming. Goodbye.